Hello everyone and welcome to the Horror Snob. My name's Michael James, I am the Horror Snob. Here today talking to you about that thing we love to hate and hate to love, sequels. A new one today just dropped on Netflix, the second for The Babysitter, this one called Killer Queen. If you somehow missed the first movie and my review I put up a week ago now, take a moment, check them both out, and then come back here for info on the second one. For those of you who are already up to date, let's get on with it in an episode I like to call To Sequel or Not to Sequel, because that is what we're trying to figure out here. Did this thing bring us anything new? Did it continue to pick up where the other one left off? So much anticipation, so much from the first movie that was done right, done well. An A-plus movie for me in my book, The Babysitter, because it really did everything we wanted. It surprised us, it made us laugh, it was entertaining, and yet it was still a fantastic horror film, full of blood, guts, and gore. It hit on all the marks. Directed by Mick G, he also directed this sequel, and you can tell the same team is at the helm for this thing. It just has that same feel, that same vibe. As for the movie itself, if you recall from The Babysitter, it was really about flipping things on its head. The whole movie, taking all of the things we're accustomed to in horror and completely turning them around. Presenting us a babysitter that's not the virginal Jamie Lee Curtis type. We're introduced to a group of her friends, all following the same archetypes we're familiar with from Cabin in the Woods. The slut, the athlete, the intellectual, the joker, and of course, our babysitter being the virgin. Not so virginal as we found out. And that was our first clue that things were not going to be same shit, different day in this first movie, The Babysitter. On and on it went, and we found out that the babysitter and her group weren't Camp Crystal Lake counselors getting slashed off one by one by one. No, in fact, they were, as so eloquently put in that movie, the big bad. They are the cult, trying to kill the kid that she is in fact babysitting. Things rolled downhill. He survived. They did not. And now we jump 2 years later. Cole, still a dunce, still the kid most likely to get bullied through the rest of his life, a junior now instead of a freshman, and his love interest to be, Melanie, played by Emily Allen Lind, is still trying to break him out of his shell. In a last-ditch effort to do this, she invites him with her boyfriend, because, you know, that's always a fun scenario, and some other friends to go to a lake party. You know, spring break style, drinking till you're dead kind of thing. They go, they try and have some fun, but in typical horror movie fashion, we've reached the point in which the introductions have been made, and now shit's about to roll downhill quickly. Cole finds himself in the same situation he was in before, and facing a lot of familiar faces, as a lot of our favorites from the first movie all return back from the dead, terrorizing his ass for round 2. Now to this point as a sequel, this really starts to feel more like a mirroring of the original, which admittedly feels a bit of a downer. You look at all the sequels you can think of within horror, and maybe with the exception of one we reviewed a couple weeks back, Doctor's Sleep, the follow-up to The Shining, most sequels are really just a mirroring of the original movie. Counselors go to the camp, they're on Crystal Lake, Jason rises from the dead, kills most of them, one survives, kills him, he's dead. Next movie, new camp counselors, Jason rises, and the shit just repeats and repeats and repeats. Doesn't make them bad films. For us as horror fans, hey, more death, more glory. We're happy to see it. But it doesn't really give us anything new. What made The Babysitter so beautiful, such an awesome, perfect film, is that it was new in so many ways. So to have a movie that feels like a mirroring is a bit of a letdown. Beyond that, we once again find ourselves head first into a scenario where all of the prototypical horror assumptions we would make, things we have been trained in our brain for decades to anticipate, we get the exact opposite. All new, all fantastic. It works so well. big reveals throughout the movie, not just saved for the end. We get a huge one right off the bat. We get more throughout. And of course, the ending pays off in exact manner you would hope for. If you're watching this thing and you're halfway through and you're thinking to yourself, I really hope X. Well, guess what? X is what's going to happen. I gave The Babysitter an A+ as a perfect comedy horror film, one of the rare elite movies in its subgenre. This one, the sequel, Killer Queen, not quite as good, but not far off, an A- for everything that it is, bringing back the original cast, the funny, completely insane beheading, body exploding, gore-fest moments throughout that almost have you giggling out of your seat, and the way that it keeps us on our toes by providing things we have not seen previously a million times before. All right, that's it for me today. As always, I invite you to take a moment, hit that subscribe button and the bell, stay up to date with all the reviews I'm pumping out, and while you're there, hit up the comment section down below and let me know what you thought of the original The Babysitter from a couple years ago and this sequel, Killer Queen. As always, my name's Michael James. I am the Horror Snob. I thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.